All right, welcome back, everyone. Welcome to day 4. We are in the home stretch, and I have to say, if you've been here all week, something has probably already shifted in you, and you can probably feel it. So before we dive in today, drop in the comments, how did day 3 land for you? Tell me, with the heart chakra, the self-love, the inner child piece, how did that feel? What did that bring up for you? Did you try the heart breathing? And if you did, what happened? And did you do one kind thing for yourself, which I think is really important? And if you did, what was it? Go ahead and let me know, whether you're watching now or the replay. I love hearing your feedback. And the things that you guys have been describing to me, that's not just a nice feeling. That's your energy body opening up. That's the bridge clearing. And today we're going to build on that even more. So I want to ask you something before we get into the teaching today. How many of you were ever told directly or indirectly at any point in time in your life that you were too much? You were too sensitive, too intense, too loud, too emotional, too weird, too spiritual, too whatever. I know that I have been for most of my life, even now, and that's okay. There's something that I want you to understand about that. When someone tells you that you're too much, what they're really saying is that your frequency is too high for their comfort level. That's not your problem to fix. That's information about the gap between where they are and where you are. You're never too much. You never were. You were just in the wrong rooms, surrounded by the wrong people for the place that you were at. So today we're going to talk about something that's just as important as the heart space. We're going to talk about your voice. We're going to talk about your intuition. We're going to talk about your direct line to something that's bigger than yourself, and why learning to trust all three of those things is one of the most radical things that you can do, not only for you, but for how you live your life, how you show up to rooms, how you bring who you are, your authenticity, your genuineness to the table for people. So today we're going to go over the upper 3 chakras. We've been building from the ground up all week. We did the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, which gave us our foundation, and then the heart, which gave us the bridge. So today we're going to activate the upper 3, and this is where things get really interesting. The throat chakra is your voice. And that's not just the words that you speak out loud, but your ability to express who you actually are. Speak your truth, uphold your boundaries, express your creativity. There's a big bridge between the sacral and the throat chakra because you create your passions, you do the things, you make things, you come up with these great ideas, and then you speak them out loud. And that brings them to your reality. There's a big connection there. And this is also for your channel as well. So when your throat is blocked, you might be a people pleaser. You might over explain things. You might apologize for taking up space. Or you know what you want to say, but you say something safer instead. You say something to keep the peace. You say something that minimizes who you are, makes you small, and it dulls your shine. It dulls your light. It's really not who you are in your authentic self. Next is the third eye, which is between your forehead, between your eyes in your forehead, and that is your intuition center. This is your ability to perceive beyond the physical world, to read between the lines, to see things as they truly are, to know things that you weren't told, and to see patterns before they become obvious. This is also where we receive information through dreams, visions, downloads, even your gut feelings come through this center. The whole spectrum of what we call claircognizance, clairvoyance, clairsentience, they all come through that third eye chakra. We also have the crown chakra, which is your connection to source, to the divine, to whatever you call the intelligence that runs through everything. When the crown is open, you don't just believe in something bigger than yourself. You actually feel it. You know that you're a part of it, and you really embody that. You're in active communication with it. You're really plugged in to that greater aspect of who you are. And I don't mean greater as in better, I mean bigger. So these three systems, they work together. The voice without your intuition is just noise. Intuition without your voice stays locked inside and really doesn't help anyone, including yourself. And both of them without the crown connection, without that source signal, are just human operating on human bandwidth. So when you put them all together, that's when you really become a channel. That's when you, and I don't necessarily mean a trans channel, people who close their eyes and speak spirit. This also includes your dreams. This includes automatic writing. This includes being a medium. This includes your intuition itself, those gut feelings. That all of that is stems from the same thing. So which of those three chakras, the three upper chakras, feel most alive for you right now? The throat, the third eye, or the crown? Which one really resonates with you and how you present yourself, how you really work with the things that you receive? And which one of those also feels most blocked for you? Which one do you have trouble with? I know there's many people, many of my clients, myself in the past included, who have a hard time. You make these healthy boundaries, you know what you want, but you also have to uphold them and maintain them. It's not just about knowing what you deserve and knowing what your worth is, but also your actions matching your words. And then also just wanting to keep the peace and being afraid to speak up and stand up for yourself even. So that's one that I find very common. But a lot of people I have found they resonate more with the lower chakras or the upper chakras. And finding a way to make them all work together can be difficult. So some people feel very safe, very grounded. They know what they're doing, they're career oriented, but they don't really follow their intuition or trust their own voice, and vice versa. So go ahead and tell me in the comments what feels the best and most alive for you right now that you use in your daily life, and which one feels the most blocked. I want to spend some real time on something today that doesn't get enough attention in the spiritual spaces. Dreams. I see a lot of people asking questions about dream interpretation, and maybe they don't remember their dreams or they don't understand their dreams. This is not just random processing. We're talking about the other kind of dreams, the ones that wake you up at 3 in the morning with your heart pounding and a knowing deep down inside that you can't really explain. I want to talk about the dreams where you receive information that you couldn't have logically known, the ones where someone shows up to tell you something, the ones that turn out to be prophetic, maybe a vision of something that happens in the future, or just something that you feel really resonates with you that you need to take some information from to implement into your daily life. So, dreams are one of the primary ways that your guides, your higher self, your ancestors, and even source itself communicates with you. Why? Because when you're asleep, your analytical mind, the one that filters and doubts and takes you out of things, talks you out of things, is offline. The channel is clear and the signal can get through. You're in this different brainwave state than when you are awake. And here's what I want you to know and understand about divine communication through your dreams. It's not reserved for special people. It's not a rare gift. It's a capacity that every human being has. And most people just weren't taught how to recognize it, receive it, or to even trust it. So tell me in the comments, have you ever had a dream that turned out to be very meaningful or even prophetic? And like I said, this doesn't necessarily have to be a vision. It could be just a knowing. The period of time when you first fall asleep and when you very first wake up is when the veil is the thinnest for you, as well as between 2 and 4 a.m. So this is a time where we need to start paying attention to the things that we receive. I had a dream last night where I was getting a download about things that I need to speak about on bigger stages to give me a little bit of focus and clarity about what I need to start talking about. And it had nothing to do with the dream. But as I was going through that period of waking up after the dream, I got all of this information, this clear knowing about exactly what I needed to do. And I'll be honest, I don't remember exactly 100% of it, but that's the thing about getting these downloads is that when you receive them, you get this feeling about it and you're like, okay, I need to pay attention to this. And most downloads, whether it's through dreams or the sun's energy or whatever, it comes in and it goes into your subconscious to be stored for when you need it. So I have no doubt that the rest of those pieces will come back when I'm ready to receive them. It just hasn't happened yet, but it's been a busy day, so we'll give it some time. You just have to kind of trust that. So let's talk about what makes a dream a download versus just processing, because a lot of people talk about dreams being, oh, it's just my subconscious. I dreamed about this person because I was subconsciously thinking about them. And they kind of blow it off a little bit and they're like, oh, I just, whatever. And there's a few things that you can actually look for to tell the difference between those kind of dreams and the dreams that we're talking about right now. So the feeling quality is going to be different. Regular processing dreams feel scattered or have a specific narrative, or even sometimes just feel really confusing. Download dreams have a very different texture to them. They're much more vivid, they're more coherent, and they leave you with a feeling that persists all through the day. Something really lands with you, and you know something that you didn't know before the dream. You remember them differently. Regular dreams tend to fade very quickly, and download dreams stay with you, sometimes for days, sometimes forever. And they repeat or build on each other sometimes. So you might have the same symbol. It might be a completely different dream, but there might be repeated symbols, or maybe they're taking place at the same location. I know a lot of my dreams take place in my family home. I moved around a lot. So one of my family homes. I know that those dreams are important because they continuously take place in that same location. You could also have the same figure appearing across multiple dreams over time. These are not random. That is the divine, higher self, whatever you want to call it, having a conversation with you. These dreams contain information that you couldn't have logically known. This is the one that makes the analytical mind uncomfortable, but it happens and they're real. And learning to honor them instead of explaining them away is one part of helping to open the upper chakras. So that is kind of the nighttime version of these downloads and intuitive hits that I'm talking about. But the divine communication happens during the day also. You might get a sudden knowing about something, or a thought that arrives fully formed out of nowhere, a gut feeling that doesn't have a logical explanation but turns out to be right, or a synchronicity that's too specific to be coincidence. The song that comes on at exactly the right moment. The person who reaches out when you were just thinking about them. I know I hear that example a lot. Happened to me the other day. I was thinking about my friend, and within a few minutes, he texted me, and I hadn't talked to him in forever. So that's the crown and the third eye working together. That's the channel being open and receiving the information. Most empaths and highly sensitive people have been receiving these signals for their whole lives. And the problem isn't the reception, it's the trust. Because somewhere along the way, we learned that we couldn't prove it, so why should we trust it? How can you say that this is fact if you can't prove it? What a lot of skeptics say. And then what we start to feel like, what we're feeling isn't valid or isn't safe because there's no logical way to explain it, when that's really not the case. So we learn to talk ourselves out of it over and over and over. We find reasons to justify it. We try to find other excuses. We try to find different reasons, some scientific reason behind it. And that doesn't always happen. So, learning to trust your intuition is not about abandoning discernment. It's about including your inner knowing as data, as information, as real and valid as anything that your logical mind produces. So, what's one time that you ignored your gut feeling, your intuitive hit, your that knowing, that feeling that you got about anything, but wished you hadn't, and later found out you were right? And then also, what's one time that you trusted it and it ended up being right? go ahead and share those experiences in the comments. I love to hear about those because I've had plenty of those experiences myself. And all I can say is especially with women's intuition, always trust your gut instinct. I remember one time I was sleeping over at a friend's house. This was, God, I don't know, 20 years ago. And I was sleeping over at my friend's house, and the guy that I had been dating, we had been together every day. We were spending so much time together. And then out of the blue, one day he texts me and he's like, I need some space. Like, I need some time apart. Just, I'm just going to go hang out with the boys tonight, whatever. And I was like, okay, understandable. Totally cool. Like, I was never forcing him to hang out with me. He could go do whatever he wanted. We were just having a lot of fun together, like you do in the beginning of a relationship. So I was like, okay, cool. So I'm at my friend's house. We're watching a movie. She falls asleep, and it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, you know what? I just got this feeling in my gut, like, because a lot of my, I had like a backpack full of clothes and like a bunch of stuff at his house that I needed to get ready for work in the morning because I had been sleeping over there. So I get this feeling, and I'm like, I need to go over there and get my stuff right now. 2 o'clock in the morning, 2:30 in the morning, doesn't matter. I need to go over there right now. And so I drove to his house, and his ex-girlfriend's car was in the driveway. And I was like, okay. So I drove back to my friend's house. I didn't go inside. I didn't make a scene. I didn't do anything. I just drove past. And I went to his house the next morning because, again, my stuff was there that I needed for work. And I was getting ready, and he said something, some off the wall comment, because he never would have admitted it, but he said some off the wall comment about me always being good to him, and just these random things that if I hadn't driven past his house and known what he had done, it would have been like, oh, thanks, like, thank you. But that was his guilt starting to come out, and it turned into this whole thing. But that intuition is really important and really does give you data points if you learn to listen to it and really trust it. Okay, so let's jump into the first practical tool for today, which is a dream journal. And I know when every time I talk about journaling to people, they're like, "Oh, I don't think so. I don't want to. I don't have the time." And I'm guilty of this as well. I am very inconsistent when it comes to that. But when I first started really wanting to remember my dreams and really wanting to continue this practice to receive those things in my dreams, this journal was actually really helpful. And I'll give you a little hint after I tell you about the practice that helped me get through this. So, this is a very simple and very powerful thing that can help open your third eye and strengthen the crown connection. And this is all you have to do. So, keep a notebook and a pen next to your bed, a physical notebook. Before you go to sleep, write one intention at the top of the page. I am open to receiving guidance tonight. You're setting that intention for your dream state and letting the universe know that that's what you want. So then when you wake up, before you check your phone, before you talk to anyone, before your analytical mind even comes fully online, when you're still in that space of just waking up that I talked about earlier, write down everything that you remember, even if it's just little fragments, feelings that you got, color or an image or a single word, whatever you can remember, whatever you're feeling, the visuals, the feeling, the knowings, everything that's involved. And don't analyze it yet. Just capture it. The meaning will often reveal itself later, sometimes hours, days, weeks after the dream itself. And then over time, you'll start to recognize your own dream language. This is kind of like creating a dictionary of symbols that are specific to you and figures that represent specific things, patterns that keep appearing. This is kind of how you figure out how that communication between you and the divine are working. And this isn't just superstition. You're actually learning to speak fluently with your higher self, your guides, the universe, because there's so many different ways to communicate that you kind of have to work through it and figure out what works for you, what those meanings are. And one thing that helped me do this is because I was doing this and I was writing, and my handwriting was so illegible during this period of time, I could barely read it later. So what I did was I would use my phone, open the voice notes and just speak all the things into my voice notes. And then later, when I was more awake, I would write it down in the dream journal so that I could read it later. But also, when you hear it, there's different things going on here. So when you speak it out loud, It helps you remember. When you hear it later, it brings back those feelings. It really gives you another layer of remembering and feeling into the things that happened in your dream. And then when you're writing it down, for me, I have a photographic memory, so that really helps me remember things as well. And then when you go back, you can read it later. All of that energy that you just put into this through speaking it, hearing it, writing it, is all within those words. So you have the ability to put that energy into the journal so that when you go back and reference it later, it really lets you access all of those similar things that you had when the dream was fresh. So it really does help. It might be a little time consuming, but it does help. And the more often you write them down, that you'll notice the more you start to remember. Because I know a lot of people have told me that they don't remember their dreams. Well, again, sometimes it's not about the dream, it's about those feelings, those knowings that you get when you're waking up. So even if it's just one word or just one little thing that you remember, start there. Because the more you do it, the more you're telling the universe, okay, I'm ready to listen, I'm ready to pay attention, and you'll start to remember more and more as you continue with the practice. The second practical tool for today is the voice activation. So this is going to help with the throat chakra. And through speaking your truth, even when it's uncomfortable, through using your voice to express what's actually true for you, not the safe version, not the version that won't upset anyone, but your actual truth. So here's one simple practice that you can start today. Once a day, speak something out loud that you've only been thinking about. It doesn't have to be to another person. You can say it to yourself, to your journal, to your guides, to an empty room, or to someone you trust. It doesn't matter. You are the magic, the magician, the creator. This is your tool, whatever you feel comfortable with. And you can start out with something small, like, I'm tired of pretending I'm okay. I deserve better than this. I don't actually want to do that X, Y, or Z. What I really need is blah, blah, blah. So the act of moving the truth from your inner world through your throat into your outer world, of giving it sound and air and vibration, is really activating. It's activating your throat chakra. It's activating your authentic true voice. It's helping you speak your truth. And it's really opening the door for you to start doing it more and to open more possibilities for you. The, the throat chakra does so many different things. And if speaking it feels too hard, you can write it down, you can use voice to text, whatever gets the truth out of your body and into the world. So go ahead and let me know in the comments, if you want, what would you say right now if you knew it was completely safe to say it? Go ahead and share that with me if you feel comfortable. This is a safe space. Let us know. Doesn't matter what it is, could be anything. All right. So today I want to talk about something that I've been talking about for a little while. I'm going to bring it up again, and it's the Akashic Records. So as I mentioned before, this is essentially the cosmic library of your soul's complete journey. Every lifetime, every pattern, every gift you've carried across incarnations, every wound that's ready to be released, everything that's really made you who you are through all of the lifetimes, your soul's growth, everything. And reading them gives you a level of self-understanding that really nothing else can touch. I do tarot readings as well, but I like the Akashic Records readings because they're very specific. And the tarot helps offer new perspectives, and it helps you see where you are on your current path if you continue down that current path. But the Akashic Records get really specific and takes into account the multiple timelines, not just the one that you're currently on, like the tarot does. So here's why this is relevant to today's content specifically. The Akashic Records communicate through the upper chakras. The information comes in through the crown, gets interpreted by the third eye, and then gets spoken through the throat. And it's the complete upper chakra system really in action. So I just want to remind you that the challenge subscriber sale price is expiring tomorrow. I will, if you're interested in getting more information, just let me know. And if today's content landed, if the dreams, the downloads, the voice piece, if any of that resonates, it's not by accident, I invite you to come and we can dive deeper into it. Okay, So tomorrow is our last day together on this challenge, and it's one that I want you to show up for foremost. Yesterday was my favorite, but tomorrow is the one that's going to actually help you the most, I think. So we've built the foundation, we've come back into the body, we've opened the heart, now we've activated the voice and the intuition and the crown connection. So tomorrow we're going to bring all of it together. We're going to talk about what it actually means to co-create with the universe. I know manifestation gets thrown around a lot, especially these days, but this is really, it's not just about the law of attraction. It's, and where you just think positive thoughts, you throw things into the universe and you wait. This is the real version. This is where you show up as a conscious participant in your own becoming and creating your reality, where you work with the energy instead of just hoping that it works for you. We're going to talk about spirit communication. We're going to talk more about your guides, your higher self, your ancestors, and how to open and maintain those channels consciously. And we'll close the challenge tomorrow also with something that I think is going to surprise you. So, tomorrow, final day, be here, same time, same place. And tonight, I really want you to try the dream journal and set that one intention before you go to sleep and really open yourself up and allow yourself to receive and see what happens. I'm really excited to hear about it. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow.